Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Monday once again. I know I said we were gonna maybe come on yesterday, but
we were too fucking tired. Yeah.
I think Anastasia slept till like noon or something.
Yeah.
We got up at like 9:30. I don't know why, because I don't think we went to bed till like 4.
Her New York ass sleep all fucking day.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yep.
And then she had to go home because
it
was Easter and her mom was by herself.
Yeah.
So she went back to have Easter with her mom.
Came out here with her in her mom's fucking brand new Mustang.
Nice
it was a white Mustang. It wasn't the GT, but it was just the regular one. Fucking car looked nice, man.
It did look really nice.
Yeah, it's the first time I've really seen one up close. It's little.
It is.
I expected it to be bigger than that. It's little.
We had a good time though. She was like, she had a good time. She had never been to Barbarella at that place before.
Yeah, she remembers the old Barbarella.
She remembers the old one downtown.
Yeah.
She lives in New York City. New York City.
Yeah.
But yeah, for all of you remember that fucking pace salsa commercial.
Yeah.
So so this movie right here, this was maybe seems like a random pick, but somebody, I don't remember who, mentioned it on the live stream Friday night. And about it being like a killer robot, because we just did Companion and so we've been talking about that, and somebody just happened to mention it, and then I saw that it was on Amazon Prime for free, so I was like, why not? I couldn't really think of anything else to watch, so we watched it. You know what? It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
It was a very low budget movie.
You could tell it was low budget, but I mean, I think they did a good job. Yeah. With the budget that they had. Yeah.
The acting was a little touch and go.
Yeah, a little.
The costumes, the special effects, I don't really think was there. But that's not what this movie was about. This movie was about. What's the name of this studio again? Fucking.
I don't remember.
It's got a crazy fucking name. They're just trying to entertain you, fucking give you shit that the mainstream studios aren't going to give you. And they did that. This would have been... They had shit like this in the 70s, and in the 70s it would have been crappy as shit. So it's a lot better now, I guess.
It is, yeah. Well, because the technology is much cheaper.
Cheaper, yeah.
It's easier to get hold of.
Yeah, like all the credits and shit coming into it and everything were fucking looked real expensive. But I realized that's the cheapest thing you could do nowadays.
Yeah. That's shit, easy. I could make something that looks like that just on my janky-ass computer.
And it was about some... an alpha test for them to test these new domestic robots. It's a domestic servant robot. And mayhem eventually ensues.
As it does.
Family drama, and the AI gets confused over human behavior, and it starts killing people. I was enjoying it, but I was tired as fucking hell.
I mean, we were pretty hungover.
Yeah, and I fell asleep during it. Would I pick it up and watch it again? Maybe. If I was younger, I probably would have. I felt like the movie wasn't going to show me anything I hadn't already seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a super, super original concept, as in, AI robot goes rogue and, kills a bunch of people. But honestly, I don't know. Like I said, it's a couple of years old. I think this came out in 2020. But it just goes to show what and it's the same writer-director, so it's obviously a guy, his name is Aaron Mertez, I guess is how you pronounce his last name. Yeah. And so it just goes to show that, somebody can, write and direct a movie nowadays, and you can make it, and it looks decent.
Look decent, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, back in the 70s...
This would have been fucked up.
It would have looked like Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Yeah,
yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can only shoot 30 seconds at a time without any sync.
Right, yeah.
But, you know what I mean? So, it looked a lot better than that. And honestly, I thought the woman that played... the robot, Alpha, I thought she was great.
Yeah, I didn't buy that she was a robot.
Well, I'm gonna say the makeup was really. Here's the thing, the makeup looked really cool. It was a cool look. You could tell in close-ups that it was just because it was a half of her face was a face kind of, but it was still kind of creepy and unsettling looking. But then the back of it was just mechanical looking, which I thought was a cool idea,
like an open exposed skull,
with a bunch of metal and stuff. And I thought that was a really cool idea. Close up, you could tell that was just latex, and paint and stuff. But it's just from far away, it looked really good. But I'm gonna say that even though I'm sure they wanted the robot to look creepy, which it did, in real life, they would not
have put that
have made a robot look like that.
Yes, I was
they would not sell one to the market that looked like that.
That's kind of what was throwing me out of it.
Because it's like nobody wants that creepy shit in their house.
It had
a
creepy looking fucking face, and the marketing department would never allow that. And I think the movie would have been a lot more effective and creepier if it had a sweet, really pretty face, because you were supposed to be empathetic for it because a couple of people were abusing the robot.
Being mean to it. That's why she decided she was gonna go on a rampage.
Yeah, and it does kind of have like an AI sweet personality. So I think it should have had just like a really cute face on it to make it look
like
more
Megan.
Innocent. Yeah. It
looked like a cute
I don't
little
even
girl.
think it should have moved, but it did move in this one. She talked, but it could have just been a solid, mask-like face with eyes in it. I think that would have been probably even better, and it would just be just a really little, pretty, harmless face, because that would have been weirder with the shit it was doing when it was killing people.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Because it kind of threw me out. I was like, man, they would never allow. No one would ever buy a robot that looked like that.
That's what.
Company would never
thinking.
fucking make a robot look like that.
Like I said, it's like I'm sure they were just kind of like, man, that looks so cool. But it's like in real life, like nobody would buy a robot assistant that looked like that because it's too fucking creepy looking.
Yeah, in real life, it'd be a super pretty sex doll looking thing.
Yeah,
like a Disney character.
And the thing about it too was that if you saw till the end of the movie. All the other alphas, it was a line, and they all looked like that. They all looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it's not like they had like different ones or anything. But see, the implication was they didn't say what year this was set, but you're meant to assume that it was like a few years in the future because pretty much everybody has a self-driving car, and like if you don't have a self-driving car, they think you're a little bit of a weirdo or like a Luddite or whatever.
Yeah.
And this new line of alphas that has come out. A lot of people already have them. They're $30,000, they say. But some people do have them because you see somebody later on that has one that's like, shopping with it in the store. And then like later on you see like another couple that have just bought one like for their birthday or something.
This movie's from 2020, she said.
Yeah.
I just heard yesterday. It was another YouTube channel I watch. The end of this year, all the manufacturers are releasing their very first prototype humanoid robots. Tesla's releasing one. A bunch of other companies are, and they're like this. Evidently, they say that the AI is now good enough, and they're about $30,000 to $40,000.
Yeah. And so this was about right. Like
yeah,
that's how much there.
They're going to be better than this robot, I guarantee you. But it's just the very first generation of them, and who knows what they actually look like. Probably a pretty big thing, I would think. I don't know.
Yeah, because like I don't know if they like really explain this explicitly in the movie, but the way that they're saying it's like because the guy who has the robot, because how they explain it, and I thought this was actually like a good way to get it into like just a middle class to upper middle class family, because obviously most people could not afford this, was that the son, who was in his 20s, I guess, was an intern at the company that made them, and the company had a contest for whoever did the best coding, blah blah blah. Like you'd win one because they manufactured them. So he won one, and then he brought it back to his family home because he was staying there while he was doing the internship, and that's when the whole shit happened. And it was kind of interesting because everybody in the family had like a different reaction. Like, he just thought, oh, it's just a robot, because he'd worked on him, you know what I mean? But his younger sister, Lily, who looked like... Now, she had a job, so she must have been at least 16 or 17. Because when I first saw her, I've seen that actress before, but I couldn't place her. But I was like, she looked much younger.
I think she was a teenager working at home.
Well, yeah, she was a teenager. She worked at like a restaurant or something.
Yeah,
but I did. Yeah, so it's like, but I was thinking, it's like, man, she looks like she's only like 14 years old. But she was like, she was driving, and she was like, she had a job.
I think she was supposed to be 16, 17.
So yeah, I think she was like a high school student.
Yeah.
And she actually, because she is kind of bullied at school and doesn't really have a lot of friends and stuff, she actually takes to Alpha, right away and like befriends her. And so she's like the only one in the family that's nice to her. And so the parents the mom is like a raging bitch hole. She is just kind of, what was her name? Kim, I think.
Yeah.
She will not have a self-driving car. She's like, my friend got killed by one of those or run over by one of those or something. And it's like, she doesn't want any AI, anything in her house. She's like, it's listening to us and all this other kind of shit.
Spying on you.
So she hates this robot. She does not want it in the house. And she makes it go in the garage at night.
And put a blindfold
and
on.
like puts a blindfold on it and like locks her in there.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want her creeping around the house at night and stuff like that. And then the dad just mostly he's kind of a pig, and he mostly just kind of seems to think it's funny to like make her give him a foot massage. And there's the whole thing where he's trying to teach, because you have to teach it things, obviously, just like real AI. And so he's trying to teach the robot how to pop a beer, like a cap off a beer bottle, like by putting it on the side of the table and like popping the cap off. And she can't do it. Because she doesn't have enough like fine motor skills, I guess, and so she keeps like breaking the bottle. And the cool thing about that though is like she does it a couple of times, and one time he's in the liquor store with her, and he sees another guy that has an alpha, and he's like, "Look, check out this trick," and it's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get her to do it." She's like, "I can't do it, it's gonna break, and I'm gonna make a mess, and I'm gonna get in trouble, and you're gonna get mad at me." And he's like, "No, just do it," and makes her do it, and then finally she just gets mad and throws it. But like later on when she goes on the rampage, she kills him by popping his top off, like the way she fucking did it. And I was just like, nice. I really liked that fucking payoff. It's not super, super graphic, but it was like pretty suggestive. Like, you know what I mean? They show her like putting his head, like with his teeth, like on the edge of the thing, and then her like popping the top
I slept
of his
through
head
that one. I didn't know.
Yeah, and then popped the top of his head off. And I was like, oh, that was nice. But yeah, she ends up, spoiler alert, she ends up pretty much killing everybody. She kills everybody in the family. Even the one that liked her, because she ends up kind of turning on her in the end. Because that's the thing, she's getting too many mixed signals. And I guess, too, that there's a thing where all the other alphas that other people have, it's all, like, in the cloud, right? Like, everybody that has one, like, has an account in the cloud. And, like, when they learn something, it goes to all the other ones. You know what I mean? So it's like a network. And so when she starts learning to stand up for herself, which she gets from the little girl, she's not a little girl, but the teenage girl, who basically says, you shouldn't let people like treat you like that, and because everybody's being mean to her and stuff. And she's like, you should stand up for yourself. But she takes this to mean she's gonna like fuck up some motherfuckers. Although they do kind of say when the first person she kills is the cleaning lady, because the cleaning lady, Mimi. The cleaning lady also does not like her and is afraid she's going to take her job, right? Because she can clean the house like better than Mimi can. And so she at one point she kills Mimi like in a pretty horrible way. She pours like acid all over her face. She mixes all this stuff like to make acid and then pours acid on her face and then smashes her head in with an iron. But she doesn't seem to understand at first that she's dead. Because after she smashes her head in and she's clearly dead, she like kicks her like, wake up, you know what I mean? So it's like she doesn't understand yet that she's killed her. But I think that she learns like as time goes on like what death actually means, and it's like, yeah, once you do that to somebody, they're not getting back up. So yeah, so I guess it's kind of the whole thing. And honestly, most of the human characters other than Lily, you don't really feel bad about them getting killed.
That was the point of the movie.
Yeah, because a lot of them were shitty.
Yeah.
And she wasn't a person. She was a cyborg. She was a robot. But
she wasn't even a cyborg. She was just a robot.
Yeah, she was a robot. But really, there's no call to be treating anything like that. So it's like you didn't really feel bad but like you said, I think that was kind of the point of the movie, because it's a horror movie for sure, but it's not like, it doesn't take itself real seriously. Like there is some humor in it.
Yeah, you're
like,
not supposed to take it seriously.
Like intentional humor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is intentionally funny.
It's intended to be an entertaining movie and have kills in it, horror stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With a sympathetic kind of villain. The villain is kind of sympathetic. It's kind of like, yeah, fuck them, they deserve it.
I mean, they did kind of have it coming. They were all kind of shitty.
Kept fucking with that thing.
They kept fucking with her, and it's like there was no reason for it. They were just being assholes to be assholes.
Yeah, only an asshole would kind of do something like that. I mean, because shit, it's a piece of technology you paid for.
Yeah.
So what would you? Why would you fucking tell it to do stupid shit and fucking punish it for being what it is? You know?
Right. And that's one thing too that and this was kind of interesting too because you know, since we were talking about the movie Companion that we reviewed, where we were wondering if you made a human-like AI like that, in Companion, they didn't tell them that they were robots.
Yeah, it didn't know.
Now, in this one, she did know.
Yeah.
She knew, but one thing that they did was they programmed her that when she messed up, they made her feel shame. Like, they made her feel really, really bad. Like, when she did something wrong, because they thought that it would make her learn faster. And I think that that was kind of like... And I thought that was a nice touch because, you know, if you keep messing things up and people keep berating you and keep punishing you and stuff like that, eventually you're going to snap.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, get back at the people that are doing that. So I think that was a good addition.
Yeah, they're just messing with you with this movie, though.
Yeah.
Because a company would never put anything out like that.
Well, no, but
would
like
never
I said,
allow that technology out into the hands of just normal people, to where you could talk you could basically abuse a robot into killing people.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen that way. They wouldn't allow it. It's going to be just like it'll be what's a more accurate depiction is like from Companion.
Yeah.
Where you had to hack into the thing and give it special
they had to
programs
jailbreak it to make it do
to make it do stuff.
To make it do that.
Make it kill people, yeah.
Because it wouldn't normally.
Because it would then just be a Terminator robot. Which is plausible. Of course, you got that now. You could have autonomous drones fucking killing people on battlefields. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's just that this one would have a human-like AI in a human-like body. So yeah, it would be very dangerous.
One thing that in this movie though, and I thought that they were kind of, well, I mean, I know Companion came out after this, but this one I thought they were going the same route of like, the robot not being able to harm humans, like, and that being in their programming. Because remember at the very beginning, when they were first doing the beer bottle thing and she broke the beer bottle, she said she couldn't say anything that was like violent. Like she couldn't say knife or gun or anything like that.
Yeah.
But one thing is, I don't think they really explained how she got over her programming, because you're led to assume, because of that line in the movie, you're led to assume that just like in Companion, they have programming that will not allow them to harm a person or an animal, which you'd have to have. But like I said, in Companion, they actually explain that really well. The dude actually jailbroke it to get it to do that because it wouldn't normally, like from the factory. Like you had to get illegal shit to make it do that. But this one, she just seemed to... I guess they kind of explained it with the learning, because she was learning and because the learning was on a network and like she was taking in all the information from all the other alphas that other people had. So whatever they learned, like eventually she learned, because she was learning from like TV and stuff too. Because remember that little girl was like showing her those movies and about getting revenge on that guy that cheated on her and all this other stuff. So she was learning that sometimes it was okay. Like, to take revenge on people if they fucked you over.
Yeah. That's the problem with this kind of AI. Eventually, you end up with a super intelligence, and it may not fucking like you.
Yeah.
Eventually.
It probably
I could talk to AI like Grok 3. It seems it's very reasonable. And if I start asking it stuff like how much force does it take in a fight to fucking snap somebody's neck or just shit like that, it starts cautioning you. It's like, well, hey, you're not fucking gonna do this, are you? That kind of shit.
Yeah, it does have like built-in, because
built-in
a few times, like, because sometimes I'll use ChatGPT to write a summary for the YouTube description. So I'll use it for that, and sometimes it's not as bad as it was, but it's like sometimes if you want it to talk about a serial killer or a pedo or something like that, sometimes it won't do it. Like sometimes it'll be like, I can't really talk about that, or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Grok 3 is pretty good. I can ask it advanced questions about obscure Japanese toys, robot toys from the 1970s, and it knows. And I'm testing it. I'll ask it questions I already know. It's very good. Everything about guns. Everything about fucking physical fitness and fucking performance-enhancing drugs. It's very good. And it can estimate growth potential of human beings at certain ages. It's very impressive. So you can imagine what it would be like if it's learning from thousands and thousands of humanoid androids, and it's all feeding into that. very quickly you would have. I don't even think it's sentient. I think it's probably almost like a very precise insect intelligence, because I don't think insects are sentient either. But I don't think there's enough there for them to be sentient. But they sure can operate. And they're alive. So AI might get to a point to where it's alive, I think. Or at least it's, for all intents and purposes, it's alive.
I mean, see, that's what I was thinking, because it's like there comes a point where it's just such a small distinction that it's like, what's the difference? And you're going to have to give it human rights at that point, because...
Well, yeah, maybe. And then, but when that happens, it now foils the reason why you're making that AI.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's kind of like it's a whole morally gray area, which we're going to have to contend with. I mean, probably
soon, very soon.
Very soon, because it's all coming to pass.
Next year, you're going to see robots walking around on 2 feet in cities, doing stuff like delivering packages and shit, driving vehicles. That's evidently how advanced they actually are. That's amazing. And they'll be able to talk their asses off and do all kinds of art, because they're doing things that we didn't think that they'd be good at, and that's actually what they're good at. Talking and coming up with shit, inventing weird imagery. They're really good at that. You would never think that a computer would be good at art, but no, they can do pretty good.
Yeah,
better than a human. Now they make mistakes, too many fingers on the hands, or just kind of weird.
They're still doing that.
Still
man.
Does that, but yeah.
Because still, like, sometimes I'll make something with it, and it's just like, man, that looks so good, and then and I'm like, shit, extra finger, god damn it.
Yeah.
Now I gotta Photoshop that out.
Yeah.
Or like, an extra hand sticking out over here, or some like weird shit like that. CB says most of the men that have the robot would try to fuck it. Yeah, that's true. But
I don't think it was functional in that way. I don't think it had any holes.
Yeah, they don't really address that in this movie, because the thing about it, it's clearly a female robot. Her voice is female, and she has boobs, and it's a woman playing her, but she's not presented as being sexy or like a sex robot or anything. She's actually kind of androgynous.
It's androgynous, I would say.
Like I said, she doesn't have any hair. Like, she just has kind of the half face and like then the metal in the back, and she's just wearing like kind of a black unitard that like completely covers her whole body up, and then she's just got little white sneakers on. So it's like they don't really address that. Like I said, the most sexual thing that happens is like the dad making her massage his feet.
I know guys in the sex doll industry, and fucking they know what the trends are and what's selling and everything. And what's selling is sex dolls that don't really look all that human. They don't pass as human because they look better than a human. Impossible proportions that women don't have, really. And faces that are just kind of like impossibly cute. That's what they'll look like, I think. They'll all have sexual function, I think. But I think what it would be like having one walk around, I think a more accurate depiction is like the android from fucking Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. The fucking guy is kind of like the lead, he's kind of like a Han Solo type guy. And he's just got this hot chick with him who's like his secretary. She knows everything about him and how to fix the ship, and
and she just looks like, she doesn't look like a robot.
She doesn't look like a robot.
She just looks like a woman.
Yeah, and he bought her nice clothes and stuff, but she's real professional, super intelligent, He's also having sex with it, though.
Yeah.
Although they don't really get into that. Just that he's buying her sexy outfits and shit.
So you're led to assume.
You're led to assume that
they don't really show, because she doesn't last that long.
She doesn't like. She gets killed.
She gets killed pretty early.
Yeah, and then he goes, "Oh, you were a great one," And then he self-destructed her, or destroyed her with a little fucking remote that he had after she was fucking damaged and shit. But it'll be like that. But I don't think that. I think what the market will select is ones that don't quite pass for human.
I mean, I think there will be a small subset of the population that do want human ones, but I think the larger subset will probably want
things that are more like
things
characters.
that are more like not human.
Yeah, more like an anime.
Because, like I said, it might be a little too creepy.
Yeah, and I think they might come out with some kind of ethical laws that you shouldn't be making android robots that can fool human beings into fucking thinking that that's a human.
Yeah, because that can cause all kinds of
problems. So they'll probably have some regulations where no, it has to obviously be a robot.
Yeah, it'll have to, even if it does look like a human, it'll have to have like some identifying thing on it, or some kind of like, it'll have to have weird eyes.
The main identifying thing is that they're going to be too goddamn good looking. If you see a person who's just absolutely good looking, you go, that's a robot. You know? And they're probably not going to be able to fucking conceal their identity.
Right.
Yeah, there's going to be, there's going to be rules.
Well, like I said, and we've talked about this before, I was just kind of like, if you were going to pay $30,000, I don't have $30,000, but if you did to pay on a robot, it's like, that's a lot of money just to pay for a robot just to fuck it.
That's what I always said. It's not going to be that.
Yeah, you want to fuck it. But
it's going to do all kinds of other shit.
It should be able to do everything else, too. Like, it should be able to cook and clean and...
vacuum, do your laundry.
Do your taxes and fucking whatever. Just, manage your schedule.
Do all your banking.
Like, it should just be able to do everything like an assistant. It should just be able to do everything. Well,
it's going to have access to fucking very advanced AI in the internet.
Like you said, it could teach you stuff. Yeah. Like, it could teach you languages. It could do all this other kind of stuff. Like, it would need to just do everything.
Yeah. It would be a personal assistant. It'd be yours, and it's also kind of like your cell phone.
Yeah,
it's just got everything in it. And it could probably broadcast or eventually throw a holographic image, or cast it up on a wall of a screen and imagery, show you a movie, stuff like that.
Yeah, it'll be like a cell phone. It's hard to fuck your cell phone though.
Yeah,
hard to fuck your cell phone,
and they'll be expensive. It'd be like buying a car.
Yeah. CB said, now this is kind of interesting. Some idiot said, put robots in a room for people to pay to kill them because it would lower sex offending or serial killing. But in my opinion, it would make it worse.
It might.
I kind of agree with you on that. I think it probably
taste
would.
The real thing.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, in a way, I know we've talked about before, like, I don't want to get demonetized, but how we've talked about how there's sex dolls specifically for PDF files.
Yeah.
And I'm like, in a way, that's kind of good. Because it's like, if they can get... They're fucking creepy as shit. But it's like, if a dude can get those and it stops him from victimizing a real person, I mean, that's a good thing. But the thing about it, though, is that... Would it? I'm not entirely sure. Okay. Maybe for some people
you gotta look at it this way. Even if it has no impact, it has no impact. It's a doll.
True.
So if he has that, he's not hurting a person.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a doll.
Yeah.
One thing you could do is use the purchase of those dolls to put people fucking...
on a list?
On some kind of list. To go.
They probably already do.
We know there's a dude here. And
they probably already do.
Yeah. That's what I would do with
the ones that look a little too...
kind of like... And just kind of get an idea who this is. You know what I mean?
I mean, because ours is short, but it's clearly an adult.
It's clearly an adult. Fucking no little girls built like
this.
But
they have ones that are clearly not adults. And they're really, really upsetting.
Yeah.
But like I said... I don't know. So yeah, I've heard the argument that it's like kind of like, yeah, we can have a room full of like really realistic woman robots and let some serial killer go in there and go to town because it's not a real person. But it's just kind of like
it'd be expensive.
Well, yeah, but it's like would that even satiate them?
Probably
like
not.
Since they know that that's not a real person.
Yeah.
Like even if it simulated a real person's reactions perfectly. I mean, in the back of their mind, they would probably know that's not a real person. And they wouldn't get off on it the same.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I don't know. I'm not a serial killer, but I'm just saying. Yeah, CB said the point of serial killing is to inflict pain on the victims. Yeah, and robots don't feel pain.
Right.
Even if they reacted like they were, they would know that it was fake, and I don't think it would have the same impact for them. So it wouldn't scratch the same itch. So I don't really know...
Yeah, because you're not violating. Those guys want to violate. They want to fucking break all kinds of rules and be unacceptable and to shock fucking...
Yeah, and that's the only way you can do that is with a completely innocent person that it's like, that's going to react the way you want them to react. That can actually feel pain. So, I don't know. But I'm sure we're going to see lots and lots more of these movies as time goes on. Like I said, I really did like... this was actually a pretty decent flick. Like I said, especially for... I don't know what the budget was.
It was low.
But it was, it was clearly pretty low.
Yeah.
But it wasn't... It's harder to tell nowadays, like I said, because even low-budget shit looks okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can tell by the acting.
Yeah.
The acting is spotty.
I had seen that girl before, though.
Some people are good, some people are not quite good. The acting is... Most of the acting is mediocre. But the thing is that it doesn't destroy the movie for what it is. It is a low-budget movie, and you're not supposed to take it seriously. You're supposed to be entertained by it. Think of, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The fucking, you know what I mean? That's got some shitty acting in it.
Well, that
But
movie cost
was
like
the idea.
$5.
Yeah, but that was the idea. They're
Yeah.
just trying to entertain you. It's a movie kind of like that, but way above that. But
yeah,
it's just
this was way better than
It's
that.
just trying to entertain you, and it's not trying to be super realistic or anything.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not.
It's a fun movie.
It's not taking itself too seriously
Yeah.
either. Like, and it's not super scary, but it's got like some creepy bits in it, and it does have some decent kills and like some decent gore. Like I liked the iron kill and popping the dad's head off of the like the beer cap and all that. That was pretty fucking funny. I'm sorry you missed that. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't super graphic, but it was mostly like suggestive. But even just the suggestion of it, because man, didn't they do that? What the fuck was that movie? Was it with the skinheads? American History X.
Yeah.
Didn't he put his fucking teeth on the?
Yeah, and kick him in the back of the head.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That just
For
makes me go like that.
for stealing his truck.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't reviewed that movie, did we?
No, I haven't reviewed it yet. That had Fairuza Balk when she was just cute as shit in that.
Yeah, that's right. She was in that, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Man, I haven't seen that in years and years.
Yeah. Played a little Nazi chick.
That was a good flick, but it's kind of depressing. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's kind of a bummer. It's not a feel good flick, that's for sure.
No. About racial tension.
It is.
The whole fucking movie, yeah. Race war, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. All right, so I guess we are going to wrap it up. But yeah, if you're into like killer robot movies or something like that, I mean, this was like a pretty decent one. It's on Amazon Prime. It's probably on some other places too, and it was free for that. So, so thanks everybody for hanging out with us this evening. Wednesday night's show, we're going to be talking about Indian thuggy cults.
Oh, that's going to be a good one,
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been wanting to do one of these for a while.
The Thuggies.
Yeah, it's like,
Indiana Jones.
People know about them from like the Indiana Jones movies. But it goes back a long way, so we're gonna talk about that. So that should be pretty fun. So hopefully you guys can come by Wednesday night for that. And have a good rest of your evening, you guys. Have a good day tomorrow. We'll see you guys again on Wednesday night. Good night.